Now, you may have forgot, but motorcycles are counted as core content in the Nutnfancy project. I've just been going light on it for about the last year. No good reason. So here we go with the first adventure I'll post. This was driven back in May of 2020 with my friend Sean the TNPR. He's behind me right now riding my KTM 1190. We're going to stop here in just a little while and we're going to talk about the bikes. We'll look at Starvation Reservoir, where we are, and just talk about the day. It'll be fun. Now, if you're a motorcyclist and you live in Salt Lake Valley, the ride I'm going to show you right now is highly recommended. This is a highlight right here, and we'll crest about 9,100 feet. I'm not sure if this is it right here, the pass. Still some snow on the ground in certain parts you can see. I think this is a summit. Yeah, there it is right there. It's not a ride you want to do when it's snowy out on a bike. You got to really check your road conditions. May was probably the earliest that I would want to do this one. And here comes a map showing you the part that I'm filming here. So this is Strawberry Reservoir right there. Then we go past whatever that is, Fruitland. And that's Starvation Reservoir, where we're going to talk here in just a second. And then you'll see video through Duchesne. That's that little town, really cool town. And then we're going to drive south on Highway 191. And this really is, boys and girls, the highlight of the drive. It is a great motorcycle road. And disregard my red marking going off the road. We're not doing any off-roading here. It's road bike adventure. And then I show you, I think, a little bit of a Highway 6 outro as we head back towards Payson. So here we go back to the road. Really a cool ride. And the way I found this was just in Google Maps. I figured there should be some more epic road riding in Utah. I found some epic riding in California, multiple places. More adventures showing that are coming, by the way. Stay subbed. Stay in TNP Patreon. You'll see those posts. And this is really out of order because this is later in the ride, but this is Highway 191. There's a lot of twisties here. It's technical road mountain riding. I just kind of take it easy, you know, not really trying to performance drive here, especially on the big bike that I'm on. This is a BMW K1600GTL, I think is the model. Loaned from a friend, although I am thinking about buying it from him if he'll give it to me for a very cheap price. Love the bike. Really a great road bike, especially when it's cold out. And this, as I remember, was a pretty chilly. It wasn't cold, but it was a chilly ride. I think maybe up here at the summit, I want to say about 40 degrees. Maybe lower. Maybe in the mid or lower 30s. I forget. We've done so much riding, Sean and I, that sometimes I'm getting them cross-pollinated, all the rides. You'll like seeing all of them. If for no other reason, giving you guys some ideas of maybe where to ride if you're in the locations that I'm going to post. And I'm sure there's a ton of online content that you can find about other rides. This is just for my TNP motorcycle fans, of which I have about 21. That's it. 21 people. It's still core content, though, because I'm passionate about it. I still ride a lot. Most of the stuff will never make it to camera. It just won't. And I'm trying to do different ways of showing you the adventure right now. I'm narrating it. I'm not doing it in helmet. By the way, if you guys know of a good in-helmet microphone motovlog system, let me know. Because I've tried some and my cables just keeps breaking and shorting out. There's a whole ride I did up in Hood River, Oregon that I couldn't use because my cable shredded. And I had all this footage I just couldn't post. It's like crackling. And that was supposedly a really nice mic setup on the GoPro. So if you have a good system, give me a link to it if you can. I would appreciate it. I'm always looking. To be honest, I don't really mind doing it this way. I think it's probably a higher quality video product where I can just kind of chill out after I've processed the ride and tell you all about it. And I got a new mic here. This mic should be awesome. Better than the last one I used. And this is, again, 191. So this is probably the mid part of the ride here. So it's before the peak. And it's just a really, really cool valley. I'm going to talk about it, and Sean and I will discuss it too here in just a few minutes. Right now we're going to go to Starvation Reservoir, our first stop, and that's where I broke out the Sony camera, so I'm not going to narrate that portion. This guy right here has life figured out. That's what you do. You get out on the lake, do a little fishing, take your family, take your friends, enjoy this epic day in May. Oh my goodness, what a beautiful day. We're on the motorcycles, doing another adventure, doing some more scouting for perhaps a Zodiac adventure. Looking at this place. This is Starvation Reservoir in Utah. And I wanted to come and check the water levels and see how they look. They look fantastic, much higher than they were last time I was up here. Man, I wish I was on the water now. Usually when I'm up here, the waves are just rocking. So it's usually really windy up here. This is a perfect water day. So, a little bit jealous of that guy right there, just a little bit. That looks awesome. So look at the terrain out here, it's just beautiful. The wide open west of the United States. I'm yelling a little bit because I have my helmet on. I'm gonna leave it on because we're gonna get right back on the bikes and get scooting again. We're on our own adventure, and even though I'm a little bit jealous of that, I'm pretty happy to be doing what we're doing. And guess who's with me, dudes? Sean, the TNPer. I bet you guys did not know that he's a rider. And not only that, he's a really good rider, like excellent. And he's awesome.
I'm novice. I'm as novice as it gets.
Okay, now if you guys go back in history, the very first time you saw Sean, he was dressed just like he is now, because he and I met at the track when I had my 350Z.
That's right.
And you brought your Evo 8 out, right?
I did.
You have an 8, right?
I have an 8, yep. Nice silver Evo 8. It's a great generation, love that car. And never getting rid of it.
Don't, it's a collector's item.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, they're getting rare, man. Everybody's either crashing them or blowing them up.
That's it, and tuning them. Oh my gosh, there's no unmolested. Do you have an MR?
I do. I have an MR.
Awesome.
So it's got the 6-speed. It's got the ACD adjustable differential in the middle.
Awesome.
And it's the previous generation, so it doesn't have the fancy traction control like the 10. But it's the best of all worlds, I think.
How much horse? 278, right?
So it starts out with, yeah, I think it's 270 to 300-ish in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
And then my car, I got real lucky. I found it very close to stock. It's got hard pipe intakes, and it's got 3-inch stainless steel exhaust from the downpipe back, but real light mods, and so it's not all, you know, crazy.
Yeah.
Ready to
You didn't
destroy
boost
the
it
motor.
to 700 and blow it.
Yeah.
Everybody I know who has an Evo 8 and they boost it like 600, 700 horsepower, it blows up within a year.
Yeah, yeah. You don't want to run it too hard. I mean, the motor can really take a lot, but then you're looking at a lot more maintenance. You got to make sure everything is perfectly tuned all the time. I'd rather have something that's more roadworthy.
Yeah.
And at some point I'll upgrade, you know, the turbo and injectors and things like that. But, you know, I'm real happy staying under 500 horse. I think that's a sweet spot.
Here I am talking about blowing up your car and I freaking blew up my Z, so I should shut my pie hole.
Yeah, poor killer.
Nice job. Nice job, Nutton. Well, I had it tuned at high elevation, took it down to sea level, raced a Carrera 4S through the California coastal mountains, and it ran lean, and that's what caused the problems.
Right.
So anyways, that was a really painful lesson learned. Yeah. I just, to the point now, I don't want to tune anything ever.
Right.
Just leave it factory. If it blows, you take it back to the factory and say, hey, you fix this.
Well, then that new white Vet, man, that thing is gorgeous. And
oh, I love it.
Factory tuned to a ton of power. I mean, all you could ever want on the road.
Just
really.
under 400. I'm sorry, under 500.
Yep.
And I thought about supercharging that thing, but I'm kind of at the point, why?
Yeah.
Because I'm running around town getting 23 miles a gallon. It's fast enough.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm just going to leave it alone.
Oh, yeah. And any track day
and it's
that you go to,
expensive. I don't have the money for that. What?
Any track day you go to, you'll have a blast. You're not going to want 4 horsepower.
Dude, that thing, and I have another track video, dudes, I'm gonna post. It was from last year, and that thing tracks like a mother. It is so well balanced.
Oh yeah.
I'm just laughing when I drive that thing at 10 tenths because it's really well balanced.
Yeah.
The C7 Grand Sport, I love it.
Right. So what's your take on the new mid-engine?
I am not enamored with the looks, to be honest. I haven't seen it in person, and maybe I changed, but I think it's kind of ugly.
Yeah.
I think the back end is confused. There's a bunch of weird angles on it. I think the front end is very truncated and angular. It looks like an Acura.
Right.
What do you think?
I'll give you that.
Maybe I'd feel different if I saw it in real life.
Yeah, I'm of two minds. So I like that they're really getting you into an exotic type of car for a very low price, which Chevy has done a great job with the Vet over the years. But you know, you've gotten rid of all the trunk space. There's no storage in that car at all.
Really?
They've taken away basically all of the kind of daily driver aspect of the Vet, and they've turned it into a much more purebred track sports car. Which, you know, it's a new direction. We'll see how they do with it, you know?
We'll see.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny you mentioned the cargo room, because I just took the Vet down to Gunny's and brought back a whole load of ammunition, loaner guns. I had it packed to the gills, and I was just laughing how much stuff that can carry.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That rear hatch is huge.
Right, right. I think, you know, the Vet was a great blend that last couple of years leading up to this mid-engine. It's been a great blend of just really high road performance,
yeah,
and also being able to do your daily tasks to a certain extent.
And then I have cylinder deactivation, so it's probably a lot of the time I'm running down on 4 cylinders,
yeah,
and getting that super high MPG.
Right, right. Yeah, you're doing just as well as the Evo. I get 24. Yep.
Yeah, the Evo 10 was not really, it wasn't really fuel efficient. That's my only beef on the, not your version, but the Evo 10. I really like that car, but I was like, holy crap, you can't put a more efficient engine in this thing?
And
it was getting like
heavier.
low 20s for a 4-cylinder.
Right. Yeah, and it got heavier. It's, you know, it doesn't track as well.
Yeah.
It still has that nice robust engine. If you want to soup it up, it works. But you know, as far as the just pure track and rally performance, you're not going to get it. So
Mr. Evo owner here, and apparently Mr. KTM 1190 driver, he's using the TNP one right there. So that's our bike. And then I'm running a BMW K1600. That's my buddy's. He rides my FJR. And we're having a great ride today, are we not?
Oh, dude, it's awesome. It is awesome. This is as much as you could possibly ask for a motorcycle ride.
The temperature is freaking perfect.
Yep, it is absolutely perfect.
It's varying from 60 degrees so far to 75 degrees.
Yep.
It's ideal. I'm sorry, I'm such a pussy, because when it goes above like 80, 85 and I'm sweating at stoplights, I don't like it as much.
Right, right.
And then I have to dress down. I don't have all the protective gear that I normally have on. How do you like the 1190? You've never ridden one before, have you?
Dude, no, this is the first time. It's a fantastic bike. It's, you know, I was really amazed. in the spirit of perfect honesty, as soon as I jumped on the thing, I had a little bit of a weight shift issue, and I plopped it over to the left, and it went right into the grass. So,
crap happens.
But you know what? I mean, once I kind of got the feel for it, I think part of it is it does have a little bit of a high center of gravity. But man, once you get rolling down the road at any speed, I mean, it's literally as soon as you take off, it's very controllable. It's got a lot of steering angle. The weight almost makes it more comfortable when you're cruising down the road, and she's really happy on the freeway. So yeah, it's you know, like I said, it took a minute to get used to it, but man, once she gets going, it's just beautiful. It really is.
It does have a high center of gravity. The 1190 to me is really, there's so many things I love about it. One is that it never lost its dirt bike heritage.
Yeah.
It's like they made a big grown-up dirt bike, because this thing will dirt really well. It's heavy, so you got to watch that.
Right.
It dirts great, but then it adds all that road performance.
Yeah, and that's where it really does. I mean, the road performance is really impressive for something that's off-road capable.
Right.
And so that's what really, you know, it blows my mind. I mean, how smooth this thing is. And the controls are great. I mean, honestly, it's perfect. The ergonomics on this bike are just perfect.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, you could not ask for more. I mean, it's got a great seat and riding angle. you know, the throttle's really responsive. The motor responds really well. You got all the power that you want. Yeah, I can't find anything to complain about, really.
Exactly.
It's great.
I got to change my fluids. Yet another project, one of the many projects waiting for me. And then I totally freaking put this speaker system here. Sean's not using it right now because he's Bluetoothing through Senna, his phone.
Yep.
But I just tried that. I had that speaker. So anyways, that's what that's doing there. Yep. We got radar detectors. We're running ways. We're not going that fast. We're like about 80, 82 is our cruise.
Yeah.
And I'm happy at that.
Oh yeah. Yep. And I like the extended windshield that you added on here. That does real nice for keeping the wind bubble. I'm still a little bit tall.
You're tall. How tall are you?
I'm just 6'1".
I thought you feel like you're taller. Like
I'm just slightly under you. So yeah, I find that this thing is, you know, if I'm sitting right up straight and riding, it's hitting the top of the helmet. But if I want to quiet it down a little bit, I can just lean forward some and it gets right in the bubble.
You might be able to raise it. Do you want me to raise it up for you?
Is it possible to raise
I think so.
Oh, yeah,
we'll look at that when we get done filming.
Sure.
So Sean and I just finished a really cool adventure. It's the Pinnacle Adventure.
Yeah.
It's where we took the KTM, not the KTM, but the Wolverine out.
Yep.
Dude, you got to watch for that. That was a riot, wasn't it?
That was the best. That was so fun. I mean, doing all kinds of cool shooting that you really can't do any other way. I mean, it was phenomenal. And the place that we went to was just amazing. The guns that we were testing out were awesome. I mean, it was just an epic day. And we had some really cool weather roll through.
Yeah, we got rained on, wind, storm, and then we did this gnarly hill climb.
Yeah.
I got a little scared on it.
Yeah. No, that Wolverine does great, though. I mean, honestly, like there wasn't a moment when I was driving that thing when I felt like it was, you know, unstable. It's got really sure footing.
It does.
Real low center of gravity. I mean, I think that thing would go just about anywhere.
So Sean, I'm really blessed to have Sean and Jardine in the project. They're super competent dudes. I mean, literally, I can give either one of them any task and they just freaking rule. And I'm not just saying that to like butter you up, but I'm just telling you the way it is. For instance, he hasn't ridden a motorcycle for a very long time, but I had no fear at all by putting him on a KTM, a really powerful, large bike. And the reason I did that is because I've ridden with him multiple times and I know he's a really good rider. He pilots everything really good. And so like he drove the Wolverine and I was like, I don't know, there's some guys that I turn the keys over to him and I just don't worry. And Sean's one of those guys, just like he just knows how to get it done. So thumbs up to you, my friend.
Well, I appreciate it.
And I can't lose him wherever I go. Like if I scoot on this, guess who's right behind me? He is. I ride with other people. And dude, they're like a mile behind. Sean is there no matter if we go into twisties, I'm going fast, we're doing a pass, it doesn't matter. Yeah. You're with me the whole time. So that's really good. And like for shooting, I can give him a gun and if you think about it from a protection standpoint, I can't do multiple takes over and over again. I've got like 10 guns that need to be ran through. I need to have the guy hit steel.
Right.
And you do it.
I appreciate it.
So that's good.
Not all the time. There was one.
Jardine's the same way. Jardine, real good shooter.
Oh yeah. Well, no, it was awesome. Now I remember. You know what impressed me is last time we rode, were on some pretty, you know, kind of 50-50 tires, and I was riding an SV650 with full street tires on it, and I was struggling to keep up around those turns. I couldn't believe how hard you could grip.
I was on the KTM 690 Enduro R.
Was that it?
Yeah, the smaller version.
Smaller brother?
Yeah. That's a great bike.
But oh, that thing was ripping.
Yeah, it shreds.
I remember watching you go around a turn. I'm thinking to myself, okay, I've got better handling. I'll be able to do whatever. And I get into that turn, man, and I'm just like scraping pegs on the ground. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I might have to get my butt off this thing a little bit.
And we do ride that way. I mean, today we're just kind of taking it easy.
Oh yeah.
And the other guy getting it done on the boat. Check that out. Again, Starvation Reservoir is where we are. Yeah, so we're gonna go to Duchesne, a town over here. Maybe we'll get a drink or something, take a potty break, and then we're gonna cut on that highway that runs south, jump into Spanish Fort Canyon back to Salt Lake Valley. I think the ride will be about 225 miles by the time we're done.
Perfect.
So it's just epic.
Oh yeah.
The K1600 is a great bike. I really, really love it. It's very heavy though. Holy crap. It makes this seem like a 500. This thing is so heavy. So you want to be careful when you're maneuvering the K1600 at low speed. Just kind of have your landing gear out.
Yeah.
But once it gets underway, it really is an ideal cruising bike. Cruise control, lots of power, probably 38 miles per gallon, built-in stereo, total wind protection, heated seat. And he's put this, I think it's an aftermarket seat.
Yeah.
I forget the name, Corbon or something, whatever the heck it's called.
Yeah.
Corbin seat.
Yeah, it's real squishy. It's nice.
It's really good for letting farts ventilate out.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all about that.
Oh, and the seat height on this thing is just about perfect.
Yeah, it's comfy.
It looks just right.
And this dude's got like pegs on it. Those are awesome pegs. I bet those cost like $400 to put on there.
Totally worth it.
Totally worth it. This basically has a Honda Civic engine in it. It's a 6-cylinder, bro.
Oh, dude.
A 6.
That is unreal.
That's insane. That's where all the weight is.
It is a beast, really. And it moves. I mean, honestly,
it kicks some ass, doesn't it?
With the pickup on it.
It goes.
Oh yeah, yeah. She could walk away.
Its personality isn't light on its feet like the FJR 1300. That's a Yamaha bike. I've got a lot of miles on that. But that one kind of trends more towards sport touring. This one trends more towards touring, max comfort, but lots of power. It kind of competes against the Goldwing, which is also a good bike, but I've never ridden it, and I don't really want to. I don't want to ride a Goldwing. They're okay, but I'd have to get a Viagra prescription.
Yeah. They're going after that Harley market. I mean, they want the loud pipes, they want the big rumble and all that stuff. These BMWs always seem to be a little bit more refined.
Right.
You're going to get that, it's more of a smooth ride. It's quieter. It's more.
It is. The Goldwing's a couch though. It's super comfortable from what guys have told me.
Right.
It rides like this. I'm kind of kidding about it. I'm sure it's a great motorcycle. It has a freaking reverse gear in it.
Yeah.
The Goldwing does.
If you accidentally came onto a little hill like this and you had to back up.
Oh, dude. You're asking for it.
No, it ain't happening.
So normally I have my Glock right there. The 17 or 19. We had a malfunction on the Serpa holsters. I'm looking into that. It wouldn't even release the gun, so we took it off.
Yeah.
Let's see, my carry gun today is going to be, let me see. Oh, just an LCP2, y'all. Something small, something portable, throw it in the tank bag. And I finally got a decent tank bag on this. I had that other one and it was a bowl of diarrhea.
Dude, this thing is killer.
That is awesome, isn't it?
I love that tank bag.
Yeah, so it looks like it'd be in your way. It actually isn't. It's completely out of the way. It doesn't obstruct your turning, and it allows you to carry your necessities.
Yeah. And I tell you what, this zipper on the fly, it still is capable of moving.
Yeah.
That's, a lot of these tank bags, what you'll find is once you get rolling down the road, and you're like, oh, I want to get something out of my bag, you start to unzip it, and then your zipper's getting caught.
That's not good.
Trying to two-hand this thing while you're driving down the road.
It's a good way to die.
Yeah. No, this thing is great because it's one-handed operation, and the zipper just moves. It's great.
And if you guys haven't ridden a lot, it's really about multitasking, and you want to have your system really squared away. Mm-hmm. For instance, it's funny, Sean was telling me on the intercom, we're hooked up on the Sennas, and he goes, wow, I've been riding dirt bikes, but with this bike there's a lot going on. I got my phone, I got music through the Senna, I got radar detector, and then I'm lead navigator, so I'm doing Waze and navigating. And you're just constantly cross-checking.
Right.
So you want to cross-check, but you also want to see if you can minimize your workload, which I'm going to talk about more in a motorcycle safety video.
Oh yeah, because you want to dial in your system good, and that's where a few practice rides comes in real handy.
Yeah.
When you're setting up your system, throw your tank bag on there, go riding down a little highway that's wide open, so there's not a lot of cars or anything, and start messing with it while you're driving down the road. And once you get real comfortable with your whole system, now it's all kind of second nature, and you can pay more attention to what you're doing, enjoy the view, all that good stuff.
And some guys will go, well, I would never get my tank bag while I'm rolling. it just depends on where you are. Like if you're on a straight stretch of road, there's nothing going on, I get my tank bag.
Oh yeah.
If I can do it one-handed, maybe just wipe a bug splatter off.
Exactly.
You know, there's reasons to do it, but you need a good tank bag. And like you're saying, you know me, that's one of my favorite words: system.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And getting to the point of riding a lot, you really do need to ride a lot. Mainly for proficiency and safety. And the more you ride, the more comfortable you are, and you learn your bike. I just think it makes you safer.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what we're going to do is pull into town. I don't know if I'll film any of that. Once we go to the highway and the twisties, I'll probably give you some GoPro of that if I haven't already, an overlay video. Throw some music in. We'll give you a feel for it. And then I don't know if we're going to do too much after that. We might stop at one of those cabins over there. Those are so freaking cool.
Yeah, just those old cabins left up in the mountains. And
I ride through this area because I've scouted this out before on a previous ride, and I was just like really, I don't know, just taken back in history about the people who established Duchesne. Their town got flooded multiple times. They lost everything.
Right.
The hardness of the life, the cold winters they have up here, and they just kept at it. And it's kind of like the gateway to the Uintas, I think they call Duchesne. And you saw this plaque right here. If you guys are interested, you can look up the history. It's just really cool. I mean, when we go to that one canyon, you're going to feel it. Just imagine people who lived here 200 years ago, and you go, how in the heck did you guys do this?
Right. Yeah, I mean, up in these mountains, I mean, you can see there's some greenery up here, but this isn't what we would call fertile soil.
No, it's not.
Easy living.
And this reservoir was made, I forget what year, but it definitely wasn't here then.
Right. Yeah, water, you know, we were talking about it before, that the, you know, the water situation. Like in today's world, we go backpacking and everything. I'm constantly, number one on my mind is always, how are we going to hydrate?
Right.
And these guys were doing it out in the open wilderness all year long, in all kinds of conditions, and they're getting it done. And I mean, figuring out where they're going to get their next drink and meal from, it's just, you know, daily task. And so I'm blown away with how well these people were able to survive out here.
We're such wussies in today's society.
Totally.
I mean, those guys were eating crickets.
Yep.
Burning manure for warmth. If they had meat, it was like a special occasion.
Yeah.
You know, later on they were able to raise cattle and do other stuff. Look at that. There's a trailer park right there.
Yep.
It'd be a cool place to stay.
Yeah.
We need to bring the Zodiac back here. So tell us in comment if you wanted to go on a fishing expedition like this dude right here. And knowing my fishing skills, we'll probably be out all day, won't catch anything. There's some big fish in that reservoir, dude.
Bring up the backup PB&J.
We probably should have taken our helmets off, because remember at the track we had left our helmets on. Guys like, hey, you need to take your helmets off when you're talking. Well, whatever.
Yeah, it's just, you know, honestly, I need to get a good system going, but it's all the, you know, unplugging and the, you know, I got the head sock on and all that stuff too.
Yeah,
so it's just a
got
pain.
Earbuds and you disconnect. Now it's not worth the work.
Yeah,
this is going to be marginal content anyhow. I can't believe you're still watching. This is garbage. It's garbage. All right, here we go. Underway. Another Moto Adventure in the Nutnfancy project. This time in Utah. Beautiful day. We could not ask for better weather. Actually, we couldn't ask for better bikes. These bikes are amazing.
It is awesome.
I'm probably going to put cruise control on that. If that bike had cruise control, oh my gosh, I'd be over the moon.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, man. This is a get anywhere, do anything.
Glad you like it. Looks like my honeybee I squashed finally fell off.
I scraped him.
He was dead there a little while ago.
I gave him the
oh, did you scrape him? Did you?
I did.
I left him on there. He's kind of like a badge of honor. What I want is have a couple murder hornets splattered on there.
I caught something in my watch earlier and I scraped it out.
Dude, let me see your watch. We need to turn you on to better watches.
Oh, dude.
Poor Sean will not get into the watch thing. Nothing wrong with that watch. It's completely adequate. But damn, son, you're missing out on a lot of fun in life.
Yeah.
Let's see what I've got today, dudes. So this is not planned. I have a Timex Waterbury, hands modded with a Gundam decal in it. So this is a really affordable watch. It's like a 43 millimeters, so it's kind of small. Let me turn my screen so there we go. But it's a great moto watch because it goes under the cuff.
Right.
I had a dive watch when I started today. I was like, I'm not riding with that.
You need the low pro. Yeah.
Do I use it? No, but it makes me happy. I got a time readout on that sucker right there. Off we go.
This is Duchesne, the town, small town we were talking about. If some of you guys are looking to move to Utah and you want to get away from the big cities, which by the way, I totally recommend, you might want to drive through this town, meet the people, get a feel for it, what kind of jobs are available there. I really love this town. It's a cool, remote town. You need to know that. I'm going to point at something here and I forget what it was. Whatever that was. Some sign or something. You got to be good with how remote this town is. There's really nothing super close. There's no Walmart. There's no Costco. Few businesses. You know, it is what it is. I kind of think it's like the oil and gas industry out here. So there's some workers that will go through Duchesne here. It has a really cool feel to it, though. Duchesne does. I love its feel. It's just that small town Western feel, which I like. And people are really chill. They're almost all conservative. When we came through here earlier, we saw a bunch of Trump flags flying. In fact, we see that everywhere when we go into rural America. And so, put it on your radar. Our communities by it if you're thinking about coming to Utah. The only thing is, again, it's super remote. You got to be good with that, and you're going to be doing provision runs to big stores to get your stuff. But with what's coming in our society, it's probably going to be a really good thing that you're remote. Now, I pull off here. There was some type of monument or something I was thinking about spending some time looking at, but I decided against it, so I'm just flipping around here. And then we're going to get on Highway 191 like I showed you guys. Oh, here's a monument right here. We don't get off the bikes, though. We're going to get on Highway 191. We'll shoot southbound, and that's that area we're talking about. It really is the highlight of the ride. And then Sean and I are going to get off the bikes, and we're going to show you one of these very cool older cabins that's still standing out there. I know a little bit about the history now. I didn't know when we stopped. Here's Highway 191. And it's really cool. Now, to make this video, I will have put in about 8 hours of editing, which is kind of wasted time, I think, because so few people will watch this video in the project, both donors and both general audience. If I break this out to the general audience, I continue to do it because I like it, I'm passionate about it, and I really like the balance of content that motorcycle videos give the project. So it's not all about guns and, you know, the gear, and it gives you guys a break on your credit card. You guys get beat up a lot on your credit card. So adventures like this kind of, I don't know, just freshens the palate for, you know, other core content. Really epic desert valley right here. And here we go to where Sean and I stop.
So imagine it's the 1800s. This road is nothing more than a goat trail, if it's here at all. And you decide to build a cabin right here. Look at this. And there's multiple cabins in this canyon. This is just one of them. Now, I don't know the history of this, but I wouldn't be surprised if it dates back to the early 1900s. I don't know, maybe 1800s, I'm just not sure. But whenever they built this, this place was a lot less settled than it is now. So this is your life. What do you think? Are you excited about it?
No. No.
Probably no running water. That's a safe bet, right?
Right. Yeah, it looks like there might be a creek, 150 yards off that way.
And like we said, this area was notorious for flooding.
Yeah.
So guys would go ahead and build cabins and houses and stuff, and then it'd get flooded. Yeah. Look at this, dude.
Yeah.
Look at how much history there is. So I just am in awe of people who did this.
Oh yeah. Yeah, cutting all this stuff by hand, getting the fitting just right, putting up the walls, filling them in with the clay and mud.
So the funny thing is watch this be like an Eagle project from 1979.
Yeah.
Some scout troop
That's
built
right.
it.
This is a group of 16-year-old kids.
We don't really know, but it looks really old. So this is your life, Sean. This is how you live.
Yeah.
I will say the canyon of choice is really epic. Look at their window right here, dudes. This is what you wake up to. There is water out here, so they did have water. The creek has been there the whole time. It's just amazing to me.
Yep. Here's their box spring from IKEA. Served them well throughout the 18th century.
So I'm sure this has been the host to many a kegger through the years.
Yeah.
Probably not anymore. I wonder if guys have gone through here with a metal detector, just see what they can unearth.
Yeah, yeah.
I wouldn't take nothing. I'd leave it right here.
See what was under the floorboards. Yeah.
It reminds me of those cabins we see way out in the desert when we're out there.
Right. Well, it's crazy too to think. I mean, this is a good sized cabin, really. I mean, a lot of the ones you see out there are smaller than this.
Yeah.
And you know, it's like a lot of people are complaining about having to stay in with Corona right now. And it's like, dude, imagine trying to live in here where, you know, your bedroom is this side, your kitchen is that side. You're lucky if you got a table.
That's a really good point. The bigger you make it, the more work and materials you have to make happen.
Right. Yeah, it takes a lot to maintain a modern home.
Isn't this rad? Dang, I should have brought something to hide up here for TNPrs. Doggone it, I didn't bring nothing.
How about a Kliga?
I'm not going to have you donate your knife, bro.
It's not an expensive knife.
I want to sign it for him,
It's
too.
a very cheap EDC blade, but yeah, it's lived a pretty good life.
Do you want to donate it?
Yeah, dude.
Okay, so find a place to hide it.
All right.
And we're going to show you the latitude, longitude of where we are. Put it under this. You want to go that rock, or is that too obvious?
Maybe we put the rock around the
Why
corner.
don't you put it under that beer bottle right here? See that beer bottle there?
There you go.
So no one's going to reach in there and grab that beer bottle. So this is where it's going. So this, and we need a code. We need to write a code there so we know if someone's found it. Do you have something to write with?
No, that's not part of my EDC.
I'll bring save a piece of bark and I'll go get my permanent marker. So it's going to go under this beer bottle. If that's too hard, Sean, forget it.
What's that?
Did you do it already?
What's that?
Is it under there?
It's under there.
Sweet.
I just threw the wood over the top so it doesn't get too wet in there. Hopefully the bearings will stay good. I got an etching tool.
Okay, etch it. Etch it. We're not going to show you. Oh, look at Sean, all prepped up with his multi-tool. Dude.
The MDMT for the EDC.
Well done, sir. Okay, we're going to etch in a 4-digit number in this piece of wood. It's going to be right by that bottle. And when we step on the box, I'm going to show you our latitude, longitude. I will not write it down. You have to watch the video to get the information. And you have a Sean knife, free of charge.
There you go.
No doubt it's dull. There it is. Latitude, longitude of where we parked. Right in this desert canyon. South of Duchesne. That's how you say the town's name. It looks like Duchesne, but it's Duchesne. French name, I believe. And there you have it. And I will not write those coordinates down because, again, you have to watch the freaking video. And off we go again on the bikes. I'll give you some GoPro footage on the way out, just a little bit, maybe a lot, depending on how it turns out. I'll mute the wind noise and maybe do some music or something. Maybe narrate if I get in the mood, maybe not. Thanks again to Sean for coming out. Good times, good times. The great Western United States, dudes, check it.
video where you guys get...
Now, the rides you see here in Utah are usually scoped out by myself before I will do a video on them, because I want to make sure they're epic, the scenery's beautiful, there's some neat stuff to see, and I think this Highway 40, Highway 191 ride qualifies. You saw that super cool wooden cabin we stopped at, and we hit up Sean's Knife there. At the time, we really didn't know the history on that cabin. Now, you may see another ride video on this same route that Sean and I did later in the year, and we hit up, by the way, a full-on TNP donor cache that is super stocked up. So I'm not going to tell you where it's at. That's going to break out into its own video. You'll see that eventually. But while we were hiding that video, and by the way, it was when I was just recovering from COVID-19, so I wasn't feeling super great. Here I go out on the motorcycle. And pro tip, that little cabin you saw there on the left is going to be hid close to that location. There you go. There, a little insight. While we were hiding up the cache, though, a guy comes out and he's got two girls with him, young kids. And we stopped and talked to them when we got back on our bikes. And it turned out that his family owns, I don't know how many acres, probably 100 acres right there to the left of where I'm driving. And that last cabin you saw, that's his family's cabin. And I asked him, I was like, so what's the history of this cabin and the one up the road, the one we just showed you? And he told me that the other one we showed you was built by a woman, and someone in her family died and they got sick, if I'm remembering the story right, and she was afraid that others in her family would die and she'd be left all alone, and she just walked away from that cabin that she built. How cool is that? That is a cool story. And if I ever see those guys again, I want to get more of the history and more specifics. It was like getting dark by the time we met these guys, and I didn't want to bug them too much. But that's what we found out. Another thing he's telling me, because I was talking about moving to this area, and you're seeing, by the way, this is Highway 91. We're driving south, and it's a beautiful drive, smooth road. Look at how smooth the road is, light traffic, and it's going to get twisty up here. It's just a really fun motorcycle road. Like I'm saying, it is the heart of this ride. One of the things I found out about this cool valley, though, is that he said the railroad wants to come in and run a line right down the middle of it. And he acted, this kid I talked to acted like it's going to go through. And the reason that was an issue, because I said, well, can you buy property in this valley? Because I really like the valley, and I was, fantasizing I'd have some bug out cabin out here and all that. And he goes, yeah, you can, and I think it's fairly affordable. The parcels that are not already bought, here's another one. That's a private land area right there. I don't really know all the situation, but it sounds like the railroad's going to come in and basically ruin this whole valley, which sucks. Because as it is now, it's kind of in limbo. It's kind of an old area that's accessible. And it's really, I wouldn't say it's rare, but it's just a really interesting place in Utah. It's accessible. You can see it's a great 2-lane road, at least when the weather's good. It's super accessible. Very interesting area. And I like the terrain. I mean, I could live in this terrain, I don't know, like all the time, because like I said, this is super remote, and I don't know if I want to drive 3 hours every time I want to go get a burger. Okay, maybe not a burger, but go and get some ammunition. See, there's some of the oil facilities. I told you there's oil, petroleum industry in the area. That's one of them. Yeah, it's super remote. Oh, another thing that is jacked up about this, more oil derricks off on the left, jacked up about this area is no cell signal, or it's super weak. That's not good. So when I found that out, I'd actually had already crossed it off my list, because I gotta have cell signal, especially when doing the Nutnfancy project. I gotta be able to upload videos, answer comments, and I call it MC, manage content. As long as I'm doing TNP, it's important for me to have cell signal. Without TNP, It's still important. I mean, if something happens, emergency, a medical emergency, you still want cell signal. But I don't know. I could live in an area with weaker cell signal, I'll put it that way. Now, this road, one thing you have to watch out about, and I don't remember how many of these rigs I see, it does experience high velocity, heavy rig traffic, like semi-tractor trailers. Here comes one now. Speak of the devil. I didn't even plan this. There's one right there. So he's got a double tanker. So you got to kind of watch it. I mean, as a bike rider, you die so quick if you head onto that thing. I wouldn't call this portion technical, by the way. This is really a relaxing part right here. I think we're going higher in elevation on this road, or maybe, oh, I screwed up. This one is actually Highway 6 going to Price, so maybe that's all you get. Highway 191, other than what you saw already. Maybe it comes out of order, but whatever. I'm just going to leave the video as it is. Now, this is actually, we go all the way down like I showed you on the map. We hang a right. We're traveling west on a 4-lane highway, now Highway 6, and it's great traveling, but it's busier. So we kind of left that idyllic, quiet area, and it's different. It's just a different ride. Still nice, but not quite as special as Highway 191. Speaking of which, here we are again, back on the 2-lane configuration, Highway 191, south of Duchesne. Yeah, this is a more special area right here. For several reasons. One, have you seen any other motorcyclists at all? No. I've done this ride at this point, when I'm narrating this, 4 times. I've never seen a motorcyclist on this 2-lane highway. Now, I wouldn't rank it as like one of the best motorcycle roads in the nation. No. It's one of the better ones in Utah. As you can see, it's super scenic. And again, the camera doesn't do it justice. Remember that what you're seeing on the GoPro, and you see my helmet in the way, and it's still the best configuration I can come up with now. Maybe I'll change it in the future. You can tell it's beautiful, that it's a dry, mountainous, high desert area. It's beautiful, but the camera doesn't do it justice. And as we climb in elevation here, we go up to that 9,100 foot peak, which I showed you at the outset. You're going to see more trees. You can see them right there. So we go into the evergreens. It becomes more mountainous and less high desert. To do the ride is to appreciate it. But this is the best I can do right now with my current methods. And for you guys living back east, snowbound, or in areas where you can't experience this is another reason I go to the work and the effort and the expense of doing these moto videos, and the Wolverine videos too. Is it's just a cool way to live in proxy. It's a good way to get out and just, you know, get a feel of the road. I really love this K1600. It's such a great motorcycle. Now, as we get into the twisties, I'm kind of wishing I was on my FJR or even a ZX14. It's not the best twisties machine because it is so heavy. And you can see there's some turns coming up. But it can do it. And I'm an experienced motorcyclist with heavy bikes. Actually, bikes of all configurations. So it's no big deal. But it's definitely not meant for that. It's kind of a long-distance touring machine that can morph into a twisties machine with some expertise. Some. Now, I was going to put music in this section, but I don't know. I'm just having a good time narrating, so we're just going to do this. This is what we're doing right now. COVID cough. By the way, I'm doing pretty good over COVID. You know, getting over it. Thank you for asking. Right now, when I'm narrating this, I am about coming up on 2 months of really having it bad. I still get congestion. It's weird. So you'll still get cold symptoms just right out of the blue. At least I do. Notice how few cars you've seen on this ride. See, look, there's one right there. Here comes some twisties. By the way, I'm pretty brutal about what I will save as GoPro imagery, GoPro video. And I've learned that over time, because on my earlier motorcycle videos, I would film so much, and just going through all that video to find out what's, useful or interesting, it took too long, and I really hate a boring video. I like how this video's turned out so far. I think it's really fun. But the reason I'm leaving the GoPro running on this long stretch of road is because I like what I'm experiencing. You need to understand, if I have my GoPro camera on my helmet, or I might be hand holding it right here. I can't see my left hand. No, it's probably still on my helmet. I really like what I'm seeing, and I want to share it with you. That's the bottom line. So I'm just sharing the experience so you can get a feel for it. See the little creek running to the side now? And as you saw from the map, and you can go back to the first part of the video if you want to see it again, this is a long drive. I mean, this isn't just like 10 miles. I forget, it's like 39 miles or something like that before we hit Highway 6 and we turn back to Salt Lake. So it's a good stretch of road. Good stretch. Now, what's going to happen here is I'm not going to show you Highway 6 driving out, because I think that's boring. We're concentrating here on the Desert Canyon. But Sean and I will pull over, we'll clean the bugs off, and we'll talk a little bit about the motorcycles there. And then I'll probably just end the video right there. Really nice day. This is like my favorite weather, really. I said earlier that it got really cold as we crested the pass. I'm going to backtrack on that, and that was actually another ride I did through the area that was earlier in the year. That's when I got super cold. This one we didn't. It was very manageable. And here we come close to the end of the video, and this is us finishing here at Highway 191. So Sean's in the lead on the 1190. I'm here on the K1600GTL, and now we're just debugging, because now we're covered in bugs. You riders know exactly what I'm talking about. And it's, like I said, Highway 6, when we get on Highway 6, it's just not as special. It becomes more industrial, a lot more cars. So if you guys come to Utah, you have access to a good road motorcycle, or even a dual sport, do the drive, and then come and comment here in this video if it worked out for you, if you liked it. And I'd just be curious to what you guys thought about it. Is it something that turned you on? Did you like it? Did I oversell it? Let me know. Now, we have multiple rides coming up that I'm going to hopefully do videos on. And they're road adventures, the ones I'm doing now, because Sean did buy a motorcycle. He bought a Yamaha FGR 1300, a really excellent used motorcycle that's fantastic. And we have some adventures we're going to show you on that. So let me know if that's something you want to see, that you'd like to see. He really loved the 1190, by the way. It's a great do-everything motorcycle. One thing the 1190 doesn't do well, I think, in a ride like this is its wind protection is really lacking. I know I have a bigger windscreen here, but it pales in comparison to what the GTL, the K1600 behind it does, because it has a fairing on it. It protects your legs. It's just, it's a road motorcycle. So there are some compromises anytime you jump on a dual sport. That's just the way it is. But he loved it, and great pairing, actually. Better than I thought. And by pairing, I mean when you put two motorcycles together, does one keep up with the other one? Do they complement each other, or are they just so, misclassed that it becomes kind of a tedious ride? And these two bikes actually paired up very nicely together. I was surprised. Again, the only thing I wish the 1190 had was cruise, but I do have a kit. I'm going to install it. I don't know how it's going to turn out. I hope it does. It's an electronic cruise control kit I'm going to put on the 1190. It's a huge project, and it's just something I have to make time for. And now we're coming to the end of the video. Thanks so much. Be a donor. Thanks for supporting the adventures here in the Nutnfancy project. This adventure, like all adventures in the project, are brought to you by donors, the elite. Yeah, and let me know if you like this format of where I'm just kind of talking. We're just kind of hanging out. on the video. And thanks to Sean for coming out. Really fun, great adventure. Go pick up his knife. And remember, there's going to be another video where we hit up a real cache up there. Take care, guys.